God.
Sorry?
Not you, not you, not you.
Right, so this is the case study we started with. From this case study presents a company, AdventureWorks, that want to expand their company, and they have some data needs. And these data needs are to be met by consulting an expert in this field. And in this case, you are the expert. And your role here is to, first of all, identify their needs, and then understand what kind of data will be coming, and then identify what Azure technology you would use to meet those needs. And yeah, so that is that. And then the next modules we would have is the implementation, how you are going to resolve those needs with the technologies, and what task you would have to list out in order to implement any of them. So there are basically a series of tasks that once you have identified a data need and the technology you are going to use to meet that need, you need to also know task to specify to meet those needs. So, and those tasks have to be in order. They have to be in order. All right, so to start with, the first lab, we've done exercise 1, exercise 2 for the first lab. Yesterday, we determined what Azure technologies to use to meet those needs. And then, so just in case you are wondering about what needs, these are the needs. These are the needs. They have needs for their website, needs for data, needs for current sales and ordering, data analytics, data analysis needs, customer services. So basically the details are specified here.
Live and direct.
Okay, and Kemi is here. Kemi, you're welcome.
Good evening. Thank you.
Yes. I like the energy tonight.
Really?
Welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So these are the various needs for AdventureWorks company. So we've identified what needs they have and what data structure they are, and then we've identified the Azure technology. So the next things we are supposed to do is to follow up quickly in 15 minutes to identify the task to be performed by the data engineer. So here we are supposed to pick one of the requirements, just one of it, because the requirements are in line, the same, whatever solution or data service you want to use, whether it be storage or processing, whatever it is, these tasks are always going to be performed. They're always going to perform this task, and they are 5 in number. So in 15 minutes, we are supposed to list those tasks out. So if you are a data engineer and you've come this far, what task would you need to write or articulate or write down to follow in meeting any of the needs? So I'm going to pull up this one. Is this it? No. I'm going to pull up the task for this one. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So we identified the task we want to meet. So here are the needs, here are the tasks and the technologies we identified yesterday. So if you pick any of these tasks, what are the processes you would take to meet this need, to meet the deployment of Azure Blob Storage for this client? So guys, anyone wants to try?
I don't get the question.
So in meeting a particular need or a data requirement using any of the Azure technology, what are the tasks you need to perform? For instance, I want to build a house. I need to buy the land first. I need to then maybe survey and get an architect to draw the building structure, and then we can now buy blocks or mold blocks. Then we lay foundation and start laying blocks until we get to roof and all that. So the actual series of tasks you need to carry out. So even when the house is completed, you need to clean the house. Yeah. Hello. Yes.
Hello.
I thought someone wanted to say something. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you, Daniel.
Okay. So to give us a hint, first you have to provision. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
First you have to provision it. So your first task is provisioning task. Then what next? When you provision a database or a compute, what do you do with it? So take Azure Blob Storage, for instance. They have image. In this case, the requirement we had there was that they needed a data store to be made available that will hold images of the products that are sold on the website. So what do you guys think? So first we provision this, right?
This storage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then probably create a where the images will exist within the blog. So like if container.
Yeah, that's the part of provisioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if configure to be part of the
it's still part of provisioning. So when you are provisioning, you have when you are provisioning, you have this set of tasks. You have to deploy the database, configure it to meet their needs. By configuration, you want to know how many folders to create, how many containers, what will go there, what region it will be at. So these are all parts of configuration now. Sorry, all part of provisioning. And who is going to access it?
Okay. And then you move your images into it now.
Yeah, so you probably called that processing.
Okay.
Processing task. So now you start working. There's data in your database. What do you need to do next? Hello, guys. Are we together?
Yes, we are together, Daniel.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So we first of all have deployed, for instance, we remember all this set of tasks you can perform. There are a series of tasks that you can perform anytime you're deploying an Azure data service. If it be a database or a compute or a data warehouse, it's still the same set of tasks that you would have to perform. So you provision, then you set out your processing task, and then the next thing you have to do is to secure. Right?
So the security task like can't fit like in provisional task.
Sorry?
Like the security task number 2. Like, so what I'm trying to think, okay, you're going to correct me if I'm wrong. Like fit like in provisional task.
Yeah.
Because you know that when like let's say like provisional task is like when you're trying to like there you said earlier like about the house, like when you want to build the house.
Yeah.
Like when, like in that process, like that's the first step, I think, and that's the step where you're supposed to think about security. I don't know.
Okay. Any other thought? Any other thought? Yeah. Hello, guys.
With you.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Nathan thinks security should be done when you are provisioning.
Yeah. So doesn't that fall under the provisioning task?
Okay. So Wale, to box that, Kemi, Usayo, Toby.
Yeah, I'm here, but not fully here. Seriously. But I'm trying to. Stop that.
Yeah. Okay. So I think, right, the focus here is when you've deployed a database or any of the Azure data service, and you've to that service, it has its own maybe minimal level of security. So what you would do later is to integrate other security tools or services on Azure. Okay, so you have basically these tasks are probably may not be in a particular order, just like we are listing now. You might do them all the same, but we are grouping them into the kinds of tasks that you would have to perform. You might perform everything at once. You might perform everything later. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. So, for instance, when I'm setting up an Azure blob storage, I could think of how I want to provision it and what the processing is going to be like, and what basically needs to be in place for processing. At the same time, I could also, while configuring it, implement security measures. For instance, bring in Azure Key Vault to secure keys, implement role-based access, and also turn up maybe data masking in the case of a SQL database. So different security measures can be implemented at different stages, whether you remember later to implement or something new. For instance, securing data while in process. Most data are secured while at rest. And when you want to process the data, it has to be open for processing. And that way, if anyone can access it while it's being processed, then the data can be manipulated from the outside. So Microsoft brought a solution, Microsoft SIEM, that is a service you can use for securing data in process. So while that data is being processed, it is still secure. So that is probably security thought after you've done your data migration to the cloud and all. Yeah, so in order not to spend too much time, the next task you are to perform after security, or one of the tasks you have to perform, these are in no particular, they are in some particular order. After provisioning, you are to monitor. So you have to consider monitoring tasks. Yeah, so you have to check whether somebody from outside is trying to access your database and all that. So, and Microsoft has different services available for that. Azure Monitor and what's this other one now? Let's see, security services, Azure. So we have Azure Security Center. Azure Security Center is one, and then there's a Key Vault, there's Azure Monitor Logs. Yeah, so these are security services you could use. Then for storage, you have Azure Storage Service Encryption and Store Simple Encrypted Hybrid Storage, and then Azure Client-Side Encryption. So these are different, even storage analytics. You could use this for logging and metrics generating. And then we also have database security. You have Azure SQL Firewall, SQL connection encryption, and all the likes. Then you still have identity and access management. So basically, you need to know what security measures and services you can implement on Azure to secure. For instance, you are dealing with data, so you know you have to know this. And then you have to know general Azure security. And then, of course, database security. And backup, of course, backup and disaster recovery is something you have to consider. And as a matter of fact, that's the last task that we are to implement. We have to implement backup. Backup and recovery. So you have to think of, or you have to implement when you are deploying an Azure data service. So these are based on what we discussed last night about securing Azure, what data needs they have, and what technologies on Azure we can use to meet those needs. And when we are deploying those Azure technologies for those needs, what are the processes that we need to, or the list of tasks, tasks, so that we need to implement? We identified provisioning, there are provisioning tasks, and then there are processing tasks, there are security tasks, there are monitoring tasks, and then backup and recovery tasks. All right, guys, any questions so far?
None here.
No, no. Like everything is clear.
Okay, okay. Kemi, Wale.
No questions, yeah.
None from me for now.
Okay. Guys, this is our exercise 3 on lab 1. Yep. I'm going back to the next exercise. So basically, you guys were meant to identify these tasks, and then we would have discussed them later after you've done that. So this one, I'm going to leave it for every one of us to do. So here is the task. So we are to finalize the data engineering deliverables.
Daniel, okay. I couldn't see your screen before. Your screen just came up now.
Oh, okay. So we are to finalize the data engineering deliverables for AdventureWorks. What is this? The main task here, we finalize those data engineering deliverables, and then we'll discuss. So we are expected to open or download the Word document under this Word document from this path of files here. And then we'll individually spend 10 minutes listing the data engineering deliverables for AdventureWorks as reflected by the next 5 modules. So this is what we are supposed to do here. You have to look at this. These are the next 5 modules. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each of these modules, what is it about? What solution is it about? What deliverable? What's the deliverable from each of these solutions? So let me see, do I have exercise 4? Okay, we're done with 3. So listing the data requirement. Oh, I closed the data requirement is in lab 2. Yes, so this is a data requirement. What's the deliverable, guys?
For lab 2, I think they want to store images for their websites.
Okay, so what's the deliverable? The deliverable is actually the technology to be deployed.
Okay.
Yes,
To
for you as
okay.
a data engineer, that's a deliverable.
Okay, the technology will be a blob storage, I think.
Yeah. Azure blob storage. Any other thoughts? Please don't be deceived. I'm just typing. If it's wrong, I'll erase back and put the right. Yep. Any other thoughts, guys? Busayo said blob storage.
Blob storage would be the best.
Okay, so guys, this is what we are supposed to do. You're supposed to open this link and look at it. Here, in this lab, the student will be able to determine the appropriate storage type to implement against a given set of business and technical requirements. So what is this deliverable here? So we are to create an Azure storage account. What is the need? What is this need here? What's the need?
The need is a storage where they can put static images, and then they're also saying that they need to implement a logic app that will connect to the images, I think, or host them. So I think that's the need they have now, presently.
Okay, so that's the need. Yeah?
Yes. I think that's the need. I don't know if any other person has any ideas.
Yeah. Okay. So basically that's the need, right? We don't have much time. That's the need. They need a data store for them that can be used to host static images that are used on the website. And we've done that before for AdventureWorks, where they actually want to be able to put those images in their product. And we identified Azure Blob Storage as the technology or the deliverable for that. Right, guys? Okay, so for this other lab, so here's the scenario. What's this deliverable? So in response to the Information Services Department, you will start the process of building a predictive analytics platform by listing out the benefits of using the technology. The department will be joined by data scientists, and they want to ensure that there is a predictive analysis environment available to the new team members. So what's the need here?
Well, I think the need is to provision a Databricks storage and then enable analytics on it, so that I also make it collaborative so that people can work together on tasks on it and then develop solutions for the scenario there.
Yeah. So So basically, the need here is that they want a predictive analytics platform. Right, guys? I'm not hearing some of us, Wale, Kemi, Nathan. Yeah?
Oh, here now.
Yeah, we're here.
Yes, please, let's interact, please.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I agree with him that looking at the lab, right? They want to do predictive analytics. That's the data requirements. So the technology to use will be Databricks, right? So, and then as I don't know who said that, was it Bolaji or Nathan? You know, that's what we use, that's the Azure technology that I know of to use predictive analytics on.
Okay.
I want to ask you, like, I want to add something.
Yeah.
About predictive analytics. So I don't know,
Yeah.
like, stream analytics. That one work?
Stream analytics. No. Remember yesterday when we were trying to provide a solution around predictive, they are not looking for a data storage or a flow for this. They are not looking for what works like a flow or something that data passes through, like data factory or the likes. They want a platform where they can collaborate. Remember, this is you need to consider what exactly they are talking about. So they are looking for an analytics platform that will help the new team members to work together.
Okay.
Yeah, to enable them work together. And Azure Databricks provides this solution. So once you're on Azure Databricks, you can create a workspace and add a group of people that would collaborate. Each of the individual can have their own individual workspace on Azure Databricks, but then they can have a shared resource or a shared workspace where they can work together. I can see what you are doing on our project, and I can make contribution to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Azure Databricks is very good when you are trying to build work on batch data, when you are going to create a pipeline and that's going to run for periods. You can integrate Azure Databricks to your data factory to work on the data you have at your ingest, and then maybe move it. So you have communication between Azure Databricks and blob storage before, and then after processing or transformation with Databricks. Databricks too can communicate for storage to Azure SQL data warehouse. So Databricks is also a good place for implementing security. You can integrate Azure Key Vault to your Databricks and workspace. When you start your cluster and you implement a key to it, your sensitive data are going to be retracted and they won't be displayed just in case someone else comes and they want to access secrets in your data. Whatever is identified secrets, maybe your keys or password, they would be retracted or they will be marked retracted in the code, and you can basically work there. So Databricks is the solution here that we want to implement for that. Databricks. Okay, so the next model is model 4. So we are to look at this scenario and identify what they need. So the developers and information services department at AdventureWorks are aware that a new service known as Cosmos DB recently released on Azure can provide planetary scale access to data in near real time. So they want global availability for this. What technology would meet this need? Hello, guys?
I think they already said it there.
Yeah, it's clear. So
yeah,
it's clear. It's Cosmos DB. So they want they want their data to be available to anyone around the world near real time. So Azure Cosmos DB. All right. Yeah, the next model. Guys, this is straightforward, right? This is 5. So here's the scenario. You are the senior data engineer at AdventureWorks, and you are working with your team to transition a relational database system from on-premises SQL Server to Azure SQL database location. Then you will need to begin by creating an instance of the Azure SQL database within the company's sample database. So your intention is to hand this instance to a junior data engineer to perform some testing of departmental databases. So what is the need here? What deliverable are we talking about here? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Okay. So from second paragraph, it's clear that they want us to provision Azure Synapse and Azure Synapse Analytics Server. Right? So
yes. So here is a need. Basically, we've talked about these deliverables before. Their data was actually stored on an on-prem. If you look at the case study, at the root of the instruction folder, we were told that they have an on-prem SQL database that was implemented as a data warehouse. So you know that what they have on ground is a data warehouse, and they want to move it to Azure. And they found out that Azure has provided a new solution has a solution that can give that data warehouse capability. And so we talked about the fact that Azure Synapse is Azure Synapse Analytics is the solution that meets any data warehouse requirement. Azure Synapse Analytics. Okay. All right. And we are then to the last one. Okay, so 6, right? This is, it's already showing its face. Yes, guys, I hope I've not lost you. I've not lost anyone.
No.
No.
Right. Hey, Wale, Usayo, Toby, seem busy. Okay. Please let me know in case what we are discussing is not yet clear to you. Please let me know.
Okay.
Okay, so the scenario we have here, as part of the digital transformation process, you have been tasked as the senior data engineer by the CIO to help the customer service department identify fraudulent calls. So we've read about this portion of the requirements earlier when we were looking at the whole case study. So how are you to meet these needs? What Azure's technology would you use to meet this need? Hello, guys.
Sorry, which need was that again? I didn't really see that.
You have been tasked by the CIO to do this, to help customer service departments identify fraudulent calls.
Okay.
So how are you to do that?
I can try with.
Yeah. Sorry, the line is breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I said I think we'll be
Okay.
we'll be doing that maybe and then
I can't really hear him.
We can't really hear you.
oh, so I said we'll be looking at I think we'll be looking at stream analytics, and then
Okay.
since they are talking about it being real time, and then for fraudulent claims or transactions, I think then we'll look at classification, maybe a classification algorithm, something in supervised learning that helps us to see if a claim is fraudulent, if it's not fraudulent based on previous data.
Great.
Okay.
Great. So the Azure solution that meets this need, where you can do that classification, knowing what kind of cluster a new information fall into or a new data fall into. You have Azure Stream Analytics, like Busayo said, Azure Stream Analytics. To implemented with event hubs. Yep. So guys, this is the end of lab 1. Okay, let me see. So these are the various needs. Yeah, to help. The first one, they want to put the static images. We said Azure Blob Storage. The next one, the predictive analytics platform or capabilities. And we identified data bricks. And then we said for global availability or planetary availability with a near real-time experience, we said Cosmos DB. So please, you need to know or differentiate when they are in need of a storage and a compute. So for instance, Databricks is not a storage, it's a compute. Hello, guys. So you need to identify the difference. You need to also know the difference too when it comes to stream analytics and event hubs. So you have event hubs, you have IoT hubs. But when you are talking about these hubs, you would always work with, you would always implement stream analytics. So when you are talking about IoT, you already know we are going to IoT hub on Azure. So we have Azure IoT hubs, we have Azure event hubs. They are not the same thing. Okay, guys. So please, any questions so far? Yeah, any questions so far?
None here.
Please, has this been clear enough?
Yeah, I think it's clear.
All right, great, guys. This is Nathan. I just got reply from Nathan. Rosayo, Wale, Kemi, has it been clear so far?
Yes, it has. It has been clear.
Yeah, clear.
Okay, guys. Thank you for the feedback. And now to lab 2, working with data structure. We've talked about the scenario we have here. And so this time around, we are going practical wise. So we would be creating some kind of storage, depending on this scenario that we've identified here before. And as the senior developer, you are to implement a storage that they would use to store static images that are used on their website. And this is coming from here. This is the requirement. So, and we said we are going to implement Azure Blob Storage for that. Here, I might need, okay. Sorry, paste this link. We got security fundamental services. So going to portal.azure. Not sure I have any of the sessions open. Okay. Okay. Yep, guys. So can you see my screen? I'm on Azure portal.
Yes.
Okay. So what the expectation at the end of this lab, you will have chosen a data storage approach in Azure, and then you would also have created an Azure storage account. You should be able to explain Azure data lake storage, and also you would have uploaded data into Azure data lake. So I think in the first class, or maybe the second class or session, we kind of specified the difference between Azure Blob Storage and Azure Data Lake. Okay, so what the main task? We are to identify the data storage requirement for the static image and for the predictive analytics solution. So we are, what are the requirements we have? What are the data requirements we had for static image?
For static image, we were looking at implementing an Azure Blob Storage.
Okay.
And then we also, one of the requirements in that space was also having a web app integrated with Logic Apps.
Okay. All right. Yes. What for the predictive analytics?
For that, we are looking at Databricks.
I'm
looking at Databricks for that.
Okay. So yeah, looking at the case study, we are encouraged to use the case study. So here, this is the requirement for static image, and we identified the technology to use here as Azure Blob Storage. And then for predictive analytics, we identified Azure Synapse, Azure Databricks as a platform to use for that. Yeah, so when you are connecting Azure Databricks to your data repository where the data to be transformed is, most of the time you are encouraged to use, or Microsoft recommends the use of Azure Data Lake for that purpose. Okay. Then we also had another place where they also wanted to keep track of conversation history, where they want to keep track of conversation history, and they also want to be able to track fraudulent customers who are claiming to have false identity. So how do we, the solutions around here are basically what we would be focusing on. So yeah, guys, so this is for lab 2. Yeah, so for the first scenario, we said Azure Blob Storage, and we would create a container that would contain the images for the images we want to host. And then for the conversational history, and where would have predictive analytics and sorry, I just want to pull up something here. So this is where predictive analytics capability was required. So what kind of data were they processing? What kind of data were they processing, and what data storage will be needed? So this is it. The business reporting is currently being provided by a single on-premises database that is configured as a data warehouse. And that data holds, the database is named AdventureWorks Data Warehouse. And it is used to provide historical reporting and descriptive analytics. So I mentioned yesterday, for those of us who were around, Kemi and Nathan, that when you are talking about having data grouped and stored in files, especially in historical form. Let's say you have a folder that is named January 7th, 2018, and you want to store data inside there. When you want to have an hierarchical structure of your data, the best Azure solution for that is Azure Data Lake. Okay, the best data storage solution on Azure for that purpose is Azure Data Lake. So that is why when we got here for this requirement about storing conversation history, we recommended the use of Azure Data Lake. Yep. Someone saying something? All right. So this was something we did under Lab 1, Exercise 2. If you look at this, when they requested for storing conversation history, we recommended Data Lake Store or Azure Data Lake. Okay. So those are the two storage solution we would be providing for them. And one of the recommendation is that if you are creating, for instance, the blob storage where you would be storing the static image, like somebody is sorry, I might have to. Okay, yeah. So it is recommended if you are developing a web app. Azure have services for deploying web apps, and it's called Azure Web App Services. And you will, when you write your code, your web app, you deploy it to Azure Web App. And if that web app is going to be needing images to load, for instance, the images in your blob storage, it is recommended that you deploy that blob storage in the same region as that of the web app. Okay, for latency, so as to reduce the latency period. Is that clear, guys?
Sorry, please come again. What do you do to reduce latency period?
If your image is, for instance, you deployed your web app to West Europe, and the web app needs to be loading images in a blob storage that you deployed to UK West or West US.
Oh, okay.
The time it will take to load, if that image was in the same region as your web app, will be much more. Will be much less when compared to when it is in another region.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I get it.
the same thing with Cosmos DB or Cosmos DB. You are deploying your app, and on Azure there's what is called Content Delivery Network, CDN. It's one of the things that is used for Netflix. Is used for which other streaming app? YouTube and stuff like that, where you go to watch video content. They are spread around such that the first time you would access a particular video, the video is actually far away from you in a region. And when you are trying to access that video, it is brought to a CDN that is closer to you. So the first time the video will load will take much time compared to the next time you want to watch the same video, because it's been moved closer to you to a CDN. So for Cosmos DB can be replicated around the regions you specified, around the countries you specified on Azure. So if you have clients in India, in England, in Germany, in China, Cosmos DB has the capability to help you span out to those countries, to make the data available in those countries. So if your web app too is deployed in India, Cosmos DB can also support the replication of the same data to those regions so that it can be easily, it can reduce latency. Hello guys, do you understand?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I get you, Daniel.
Okay, perfect, guys. Yep. So we've identified for the first task here, we were to identify data requirements for static image and also for the predictive analytics solution. There are data storage requirements. So for the static, where we want to store the static image, we said Azure Blob Storage. And where we also want, we are to store, where we are to store historical reporting and descriptive analytics data, we said Azure Data Lake. Okay. So that's why I try to help us understand that there's a difference between data storage requirement when you are working with historical data and data compute requirement when you are working with historical data. Okay. So for Azure Data Lake, you can process historical data faster on Azure Data Lake than on any other storage. And then guys, to exercise 2. I hope, okay. So this will be the last exercise for tonight. Oh, we still have another, and that's for Azure Data Lake. So guys, don't worry, this is just about creating these storages, which we would be faster. So, is there anyone that has Azure subscription?
Yeah, I have.
Okay. Just
I think
Wale.
Toby also had. Toby also said he has, but he's not really available tonight.
Yes, yes, I have, but I'm also in another meeting. But I'm with
Okay,
you
okay.
guys. But I have Azure subscription, $100 for each month.
All right. Okay, so yep. Is anyone someone wanted to say something?
I could use an Azure subscription if there is anyone giving $3 on it.
Okay. Okay. So what I would do, guys, let me quickly do this. I'm going to create a resource group. So yes, in case you've not worked on Azure before, for you to create resources. So I'm sorry. Okay. Thanks, guys. For you to create resources on Azure, you would need subscription. No way. Without subscription, you can't create resources. And after subscription, you would need to have resource groups. Each of your resources will have to be in a resource group. And it doesn't matter what region your resource group is. You can have different resources in different regions in one resource group. Okay, so the structure here is subscription, resource group, then the resource itself. Okay, so in this way, I have a subscription. And under this subscription, I could create a resource group. And on Azure, I can give somebody access to my subscription. I can give access at subscription level. And also, I can give access at resource group level. Okay? And again, I can give access at resource level. Resource here, sorry. Okay, someone just joined. Sylvester joined tonight. Okay, welcome, Sylvester. We're glad to have you with us tonight. Yeah, so guys, on Azure, you can give access at all this level, at subscription level, at resource group level, at resource level itself. And I said, what are resources on Azure? Your resources here refers to your data services, your web app services, your security services, your compute services, and different services. Yeah, all of them, VMs, they're all referred to as resources. So like I said, I have a subscription here, and I'm going to create a resource group. You see, when you hover over, I hope we can all see my screen.
Yes, it's clear.
Yes,
All
it's
right.
clear.
Okay. So I can create a new resource group. I'm going to do that now. Create resource group. And so whenever you are creating a resource group or any resource at all, you have to specify, like I said, they are in order. Resource group is under subscription and resources are under resource groups. So subscription, resource group, resource. Then here, this is the subscription I'm using. It's the only subscription available for me here. Then the resource group, let me say DP 200 resources. So you have a naming convention. All the names have to be together. let me see, session resources, and then according to our lab, I think we have specifications for that. So we would use this. And I add 2 initials. So who would give us initials tonight? Hello, guys. Hello. Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes, yes. I can hear you.
Use my
Okay.
initials,
Okay.
JO.
All right. JO. All right. Okay. Then we're asked to select okay, the region here wasn't specified. So these are the things we are supposed to select. Okay, this is just for the blob storage. So I'm going here, say JO, and I'm going to put the region. So these are the various regions that are available on Azure. There's just 2 right now for Africa. We have South Africa North. South Africa North, and okay, that's the only one available. Okay, so let's put say US, say West US, and you can add tags to this. Basically, tags are to help you classify resources. Say, for instance, this resource group, is it going to be for every work you want to do in your test environment, or it's test environment for marketing department, or maybe production environment for marketing department? This is what tags basically do for you. And it is not necessary, it's optional if you want to put tags. So I can just go on and click on review and create. Yep, right. And then we create the resource group. Yeah, so I can go to resource group. Like I said, inside resource group is where you can create resources. And there are different ways you can create resource. You can search here. You can search for resource here. You can also click on create resource here. Anywhere, okay? So once I click on create resource, I can then search the Azure Marketplace. So I can access any product on Azure Marketplace here by just searching. So here I'm going to create a storage account. Blob storage and data lake, both of them are inside Azure Blob storage. Azure storage account. So here's what I'm saying. I'll search for storage account, and select it. So you click on create. Yeah, so you select your subscription, and then the last one we created, the last resource group we created, then the instance details. So here are the instance details. We were to specify here. Okay. So this one first we did here, the first task we did here was to create and configure resource group. And then the next task we have here is to configure the storage account. So like I said, you click on create a resource, then you search for the word storage account in this marketplace search control, and then you will click on storage account, and then you click on create, just like I did here. When storage account was returned, I clicked on create and we got here. Then here we are supposed to specify all necessary detail. Okay, so we'll follow the details specified here. We'll name the storage account as this. So all these things are straightforward. It's not difficult. Then we have to add the initials JO. Then, oh, somebody is already taking this. Let's see. Okay, JOS. I think there's someone with S here with us, right? Okay, that's Sylvester. Okay. Yep. Then we're supposed to the name of the Azure region which is closest to the lab and where you can provision Azure VMs. So if you can, at the point you will need to deploy VMs for our our resource. We'll need to deploy VMs for our resource, and then we need to specify the regions. There are some regions you cannot deploy VMs. For instance, I'm not sure you can do that. You can deploy VMs on the Azure South Africa North region. Yeah, I'm not sure you can do that yet. There are some services you don't have available in those regions. Okay, so then the performance, we're supposed to select standard and also account kind storage version 2. Okay, standard storage version 2 is also referred to as general purpose version 2. Then replication, we would have to leave that to read access geo redundant storage, which is the default you would have here. There are other replication. If you want it locally redundant, you want it geo redundant, or just read access. Read access simply means you can only run select queries. You can't do insert. Hello, guys.
Yeah, Daniel.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So in this database you are creating, someone can only read data from there, but cannot insert data. Okay. So the next one, we have to put access here to hot, which is hot by default, and then we can, in the create storage, we need to click on review. So basically, if you have network requirements, you can set those requirements. But these are the defaults here. You can use a public endpoint, for instance, my own IP address of my system, I can use it to access. But if I want to make that private and allow only selected networks or just private networks to do that, then I have this option to do that. And if private networks now, you are probably referring to creating VNets, virtual networks that can only access the storage. So these are security measures you need to think of when you are working in such environment where data security is really important. And then your routing preference, if you want to do internet routing or you want Microsoft to do that for you. And then soft delete is disabled. So yeah, basically soft delete is referring to the help enables you to save and recover your blob data in many cases where they are deleted. Maybe somebody did mistakenly deleted, or they have, in fact, you won't have the option available to do a delete if you are not permitted. So by default, it's disabled for you to delete snapshots. Snapshots are actually persistent images of the current state of your data storage or your data storage service. Then advanced settings, you can, so feel free guys, please just try to play around this storage, okay? Just try to play around the storage. So this is Azure Data Lake specification. Majorly, if I'm creating Azure Blob Storage, I disable this because this is Data Lake, and the difference between Data Lake and the ordinary or normal or default Azure Blob Storage is that Data Lake has a lot more capacity to work with large chunk of data, and it still has blob storage capabilities. You can use it for what you want to do with blob storage, but it's an advanced form, advanced blob storage. Okay, so if you are creating blob storage, you can use it, or you need a blob storage capability, you can actually use that for the same purpose. Yep. So we can hit review and create. I talked about tags before. It's the same concept here. Yep. It's been reviewed, and then we click on create. So it's creating or deploying the blob storage we just created now. And then when it does that, on the overview page here, you have different information to for access. All the information you will need for access, the information, everything would be here. So it's still deploying. Okay, while that is going on, when that is ready, blob storage work with containers. If you are to send or upload files to a blob storage, you are to have containers for your files. So the structure here is I have a blob storage. In that blob, there are different blobs. There are page blobs, there are block blobs, and an append blob. So it depends on the kind of blob storage or what kind of files you are using. And for each blob, for you to upload files to it, you have to create a container. So like I said, a container is like a table in a SQL database. Okay, so you have, when you have a table, you have unique records on the table. So the same way, you have container and you have items. a container. And that's for a blob storage. Yep. Let's check if our deployment is complete. Yes, it is. So when we come to this resource, you see every information you need here to access it. So for me to create a container, I would have to click on container, but let's follow our example here so we don't get to jump. Task 3 here is to create and configure a container within the storage account. So when the Azure portal states that your deployment is complete, you can click on go to resource like I did from here. Go to resource. This is the storage account that was created. And you can go to this resource. That was how we got here from this notification pane. And then from here, you are also to click containers. You can scroll down to on the side pane and you will see all the services available to you here. So blob services available in this Azure storage account. We have container there. You have custom domain, data protection, and the like. So this basically, you also have file services, you have table services, you have queue. So when you create a blob Azure storage account, you have 4 different storage services available for you. And you have blob service, you have file service. When you want to do file sharing in your organization, you can use the file sharing service of an Azure storage account. And if you just want a simple table, not like the SQL table, just a simple table where you want to store data, you can use the table service of the Azure storage account. Then if you have a queue service where you have a list of things or in particular orders that need to be executed, and the information, everything goes into the queues, like you are creating a traffic or a flow of activities. Yep, so creating containers, I can click on create on containers from here, or I can do the same from here. I click here, it comes there. Currently, there's no container in this blob, under this blob storage. So you click on create or add container, you specify the name of the container. So let's use the name that will be asked to use here. So we followed the basic instruction. Under blob service, click containers, and when that appears, you click on plus or add container button. And then a new that screen that popped up on the right side appears, and when we are to specify the name as images. Yeah. Images. Then the access, public access mode, we are to set it to private, no anonymous access, which is the default. So if you look at, when you're trying to find what this is about, you are specifying that this, the data can only be accessed by the account owner. When it's set to private, no anonymous. Yeah. For a blob access, you would only allow a read access. Here, just when you just want a read access, you can select the blob. And then if you want anonymous read access for containers, both containers and blobs, you select this one, but we're selecting private. Hello guys, please let me know if You're not understanding. Okay, Wale, I see Wale's hands being raised.
Yeah, you know, I'm the timekeeper, so I have to tell you that we just crossed over the 1 hour 30 minutes mark.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And personally, I will have to leave by 10 o'clock. I actually have another call. So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I think we would round off soon, guys. So okay. So I think we can click create. Sorry, select create here to create that container. So we are to repeat the same steps we've done so far for phone calls, for a container named phone calls, for a container named tweets. So basically all you need to do is just click on create and then add phone calls, click on create. Then for tweets, we click on create tweets. Then, yep, we've created all the containers here. Then we are to upload, the next step is to upload some graphics to the images container of the storage account. So in the image container, still you can just click on the image container and it will open, and then you click on upload button, and then in the upload screen you click on a folder, and then or the folder icon, and you click on it, and then in the open dialog box we browse to where we have this on our lab files, and then you can highlight the following and then it will add them. So let's quickly do that. Image container, and this is upload. Okay, we don't have, I think I would have to download the lab files quickly. Lab files. Sorry. Lab files data, then web graphics. 2 website graphics. We can download. Uh-oh. I'm supposed to have a place to download this, eh? Isn't it allowing me? Okay. Let me do a save as. And this is supposed to go to our lab 2. We name it website. Sorry. It's in a new folder. Site images. Right, save. And then you have to repeat the same steps for the other images. I have one. Yep. So guys, I think in order to save time, we'll just select the files that we want. The website images, and you can basically select all and it will upload them. So you can see how it is separating them with just a space, the name of the file space between each other. And you can override if the files are already existing and you're not sure and you want to upload again, you can just select this override button and it will override if it's already existing. So that's how to upload images to your blob storage. This is just with graphics. And if you are to upload to maybe code or any other form, you can also. And then, okay. So I think we basically have done that. Then on exercise 3, we are to create and configure a storage account as a data lake store Gen 2. As a data lake store Gen 2. So the process here is the same thing for the way we created the way we created the Azure Blob storage. But the only thing here is under data lake Gen 2, click enable under hierarchical namespace. So remember, it was disabled when we were creating the blob storage. That's just the difference. Hello, guys.
Yes,
Is that clear? Please let me know if it's been clear so far.
yes, it's clear.
Okay. Kemi, has it been clear so far?
Yes, it has been clear.
Okay. And hope it's not been boring.
No, not at all.
Okay, guys.
Daniel, not at all. At least I can hear you. But I cannot see the screen.
Oh, okay.
Nice one. Thank you very much.
Yeah. All right, guys. So I said the only difference when you are creating Azure Blob storage and a data lake storage Gen 2 is enabling hierarchical namespace. Enabling a hierarchical namespace for the data lake. So that's just the difference. So it's the same process that we've done so far for this other one. Then you have to basically create a container, then upload data to that data lake storage. And then the last thing we were to do here, sorry, please, let me quickly create the Azure data lake storage. I'll just change the name. We've been using Wale since. Okay. So the same way, just so that we get familiar with this process, you search for, I'd clicked on create resource, then this appears. Let me do that again. As you click on create resource, this appears, and then you have a storage. You search for storage. Oh, sorry, guys. Okay. You search for storage. You select storage account. You click on create, and then you select resource group. This is the one we created for the class, and then the name of the data lake you're creating. And then we used okay. Kemi, yours is taken. And then okay. So Kemi, I had to join you with Nathan. West US still standard, storage version 2, read access, everything remains cool. Next. Yeah. So this is just what we had to change. It was disabled before, now we have to enable hierarchical data. So what is this? Namespace just accelerates big data analytics workflow and enables file level access control list. So like I said, when you want to have your data in file structures, in terms, for instance, storing your data in terms of date. So let's say, for instance, in the year 2020, 2020 is a folder. Under 2020, you have January to December as folders. Then inside January, you have January 1st as a folder, January 2nd as a folder, down to January, say January 31st. These are folders under folder under folder. So it's under January 1st, 2020, you have the main data you want to access. So when you are dealing with such file system or file level data, it would be nice if you, or it's recommended for you to use Azure Data Lake Storage. So, and how to create it, or the difference between data lake storage and Azure Blob Storage is that you enabled hierarchical namespace. That's just the difference. So you review and you create. Yes. And we create. So what's expected next is we are to create a container, just like the same way we did there. We are to create two containers, data and logs. Data and logs. So once that is done, it's still deploying the database. So you can see basically, guys, is there any difference? Is there any difference so far? Hello, guys.
Yes, Daniel.
Right. So is there any difference so far, or you've seen similarities, but just a little different? Okay. And just for the sake of time, if we are not able to go through the remaining, I might have to give us that as assignment. Okay, I guess probably everyone wants to go and have a thank God it's Friday moment. So we go to click on go to resource. Then from here, scroll down. So you just see data lake storage. Before you saw blob storage, blob services here. But right now you are seeing data lake storage. And when you click on containers, here too you can manage lifecycle, but we are not talking about that now. Lifecycle, whether it moves from hot to cool, from cool to archive. And when that is done, you bring it back, you have to rehydrate. But that's not focus for tonight. So when you click create, that's been created. So it's typically the same. The other container is logs. So create logs. And here, yes, so we have data and logs here. Just as it appears here is what we have here also. Right, then the next thing that we are asked to do in exercise 4 is to upload data into Azure Data Lake. So, and to do this, there's a desktop app called Azure Storage Explorer. Right, this is a Windows file explorer, right? The same way you have this, you also have Data Storage Explorer on Azure, or for Azure storages, storage services. So I have that. Sorry. Guys, please let me know storage. Okay, so this is it, Microsoft Storage Explorer. Okay. So I can use that to access all storage services I have deployed using my credentials, or the ones that have been shared with me that are using that same credentials. I can access everything with the Azure Storage Explorer. So the whole process here describes how to download and install it, which I have done. So it's just the normal way of you downloading and installing things. Yeah. So if you look at here, if you click on overview, you see open in Explorer. And once you do that, you can actually download using this link from here, or you can open it. You can open the app if it is installed on your desktop already. On your Windows, if it's installed there, you can open the apps from here. So I have mine installed already. So I'm going to basically, hello guys, can you see?
Yes, Daniel, you can see.
All right. I think I'm logged in with another email, another credential. Let me see. It's trying to access all my storages somewhere else. Sorry. Just taking time. So while that is ongoing, I think we would have to download. Okay. So I want to add another Azure storage account. That's Azure. And then yes, so I'm going a step further. This is the next step to upload this files to those containers we created. And the files can be found here under logs. We've downloaded images before, so we can access logs. These are the log files. We can download them here. So let me download. Okay, I think we could do this. The ellipsis file text. Okay. I think we would have to copy this. Sorry. Need a new window. Normally, I'm supposed to be able to log in from here. supposed to have to create a folder. To create a folder here. Code logs. Right. Yep. So I'm going to create a new log file here. What's the name again? This is weblogs Q1. Weblogs Q1. Paste. Then I'll save as I'm going to save it as a .log. Web logs 1 log. Okay, so that's that. And then the next one here is weblogs Q2. And to select all. Yep. Hello, guys.
Yes, done.
All right. Please hope you are following.
Yes, yes.
Files, the log, and then yes. So we have the two files here. You could upload these files from the web, and you could do that somewhere else. And nope, this is not what I want. So I want to remove this. Let me change it. And then I'll add an account here. So the account I'm going to add here would be my it would be the one I used to create that the data lake storage. Okay, so my credential, sorry. This is the issue I have with it. I just want to check the email address I used. Okay, so Daniel at dandengroup.com. So this is Daniel at dandengroup. Okay. Then password. Yeah. Okay. I think it closed. It's been added. Okay, so if I'm to go to my resources, to go to the resources I have to that account, this is the resources I added. So basically what the way Azure Storage Explorer displays your your resources is according to based on subscription. So these are different subscriptions I have. And basically this is the Azure Data Lake Storage we created. This is the the blob storage you created, and then this one was for some other project I did. Yeah, so this is where we want to actually add a file. So I'll click on blob containers now for the Azure Data Lake. And do a drop down, and then we should be able to add files from here. We should be able to do some other manipulations we want to do. So this is data and this is logs. So according to our example here, we are supposed to download preferences.json. We've not gotten that under logs. Okay. So let's see the raw. Yeah. Nope. So again, so let me edit the file and then copy content. Okay. So create new. Create a new file. Preferences. Maybe before I change the data type or the file type, let me do this. Because if I change the data type now to JSON, it will begin to see it as JSON, and then if I should open it, it's going to open with a VS Code. So I do a save as. Yep, I'm going to do all files. Then .json. Okay. Okay, it's Unicode here. So it's telling me it's Unicode. I should change that. Okay. So .json. Yep. Set close. So I say it's, like I said, if I try to open a .json file, it's going to open with my VS Code. Aha. Yep. Like I said, we are live. I don't need it now. Okay. So guys, oh shit. Hope that doesn't close, please. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to add to these folders what we are supposed to add, and then we come to the end of our exercises tonight. So we are to choose files to upload. Choose files to upload dialog box. Then we are to click open. That's under logs. So let's go there to logs. Let's close this application. Yeah, it's loading.
I think it's going to take much time because I have a lot like.
Yeah, it's coming. So it's basically trying to display it as the web.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I have a question.
Okay.
Like, what's the advantages of using like the app, like the software, this software, like than using it like into the web, like.
Instead of the web. So so one of the thing basically here is you just want to see storage. You just want to see storage. I think it's not my app. So you just want to see storage. It's mainly for storage. So remember, when you are deploying a data solution or solutions for your data pipelines, you probably have storage, security, you have um, you have compute and all that. You already have so many things in one place for a data process. But what Storage Explorer is for just storage alone. Okay, so it's more like it's separated for the concern of processing or working on your storage alone. So you can do update, delete, select, or create operation from that place, from this place on your desktop. So you don't have to log into, it's a one-time login. You don't have to log into Azure and then start looking for the resource group where it is. You can see everything right away from here.
Okay.
Sorry, mine crashed because of the GPU demand.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so we might have
not like so much work.
So I might have to. Hello, Kemi, are you there?
I think we only remaining me and you.
Yeah.
I think we only remaining me and you.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh. Guess everyone almost got tired.
Even me, I'm trying to survive as like I'm the last survivor.
The last man standing.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because I'm planning like after this session, maybe
Yeah.
I'll try to take now the exam certificate and see if I'll be able to. Like
Okay.
after the session, the one we are going to have.
Okay. Okay. I that's what I actually would advise. And also maybe towards the end of the session, we would then share some of our resources.
Yeah.
Yes, and even for the story, the the dorms, the
Okay.
dorms we would give out dorms towards the end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one will be that will help.
Yes, and it's the latest dorm, and we would give that out when we are almost done. And so tomorrow basically we'll focus on lab 3 and lab 4,
Yeah.
so that we want to take 2 labs per day so that we can finish on time.
Yeah, I hope nannies and
Yeah. I didn't know we would go this far today.
yeah, like that's the way it is. Like when you start something and then it's becoming so good, so
Yeah, yeah,
you end up even like adding more time than what was been expected.
yes. Sorry, it closed my browser. I had to restart. Yeah, so I help. I'm here. Okay, so containers. We already have those 2 containers. Then logs. Then I'm to upload files from here. Then just select the files. The files are inside logs. Just 2. Then I'll upload here. So would have done it from the other side, but just couldn't achieve that here. So we've uploaded them. Then we can also do the same. We can go under containers and do for data and upload the other file. Preferences and upload. Yeah, so inside the containers we have data inside. We have data inside data container. We have data inside the log container. Yep, so that's one. And then we also to add other files. Dim date 2 dot text. We are supposed to add that. So we are also to add We've added preference.json. We also to add dim date on inside this folder path. Then we repeat the same, which we've done. But basically, we're supposed to have these two inside data container, and the other two web logs Q1 and Q2 inside the the log container. So that's basically all. You can create a new folder inside inside it. You can create a new folder inside. So like I said, in case you want to have a different thing, for instance, I said 2020. February. You can add that as a directory. So you can see now it creates that directory here. And then you can upload files to that directory here. You can put all this file in that directory. And it uploads them successfully to that directory. So inside data, we have this directory that has this data. And you can create subdirectories. You can add directories under those ones. Yeah. So I think we've come to an end of our lab 2. Wow.
Yeah, so this is the end of lab 2, right? So tomorrow
Yes.
we're going to cover lab 3 and lab 4.
Yes, lab 3 and lab 4.
Okay. So since that I already have the repositories out for your lab 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So I recommend that we do these things. Tomorrow we'll be working on Databricks as a compute. Be deploying Databricks, setting it up basically, then accessing it, and then creating notebooks, creating a cluster, and running our codes on it, having our results, or performing a colon rename in a data set, different operations. And yeah, so I can tell I've worked with Azure Databricks, and it's interesting to work with. It's really interesting.
Okay. So this what you're going to cover tomorrow.
Yes, we are going to cover that tomorrow, and Cosmos DB would cover Cosmos DB also tomorrow. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathan. You're the last man standing. Yeah.
So let's meet again tomorrow.
Yes, please. Let's have our date tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Please enjoy your night. What time is it in Uganda?
Now is midnight.
Sorry?
That's 12:41.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
I'm saying 12:41, like 15 minutes coming to 1.
Oh, okay. It's already early in the morning.
Yeah.
Wow.
So for us, we already the next day.
Like I said to, I know in Zimbabwe, Funani isn't on the call tonight. He told me they are 1 hour ahead of us. So I guess you are about 2 hours ahead of us. Uh-huh. So,
Have a great
well,
day. Let me try to
yeah.
prepare for tomorrow and see how it's going to be.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're talking to me from tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Take care. Good night.